Hey everyone, today I have for you a new gold farm that is incredibly fast, as you can see, works with or without fire tick turned on in your world, has an adjustable speed setting if the higher speeds are too fast for your realm or device, and has a simple sorting system that can easily keep up with the speed of the farm. There's even a smelting system attached to get gold nuggets from your swords. Speaking of gold nuggets, this farm gets over 60,000 of them per hour and a total of over 122,000 drops per hour. Oh, and 30 levels in about 47 seconds. Let's get our materials together first, then start building. And while you gather your materials, if you already like the sound of this farm, click the like button to help this farm get shown to more people. Subscribe to the channel for more great tutorials, videos, and live streams, and drop me a comment down below and let me know, what are you going to be using all this gold for? As far as materials go, here's what we have, and just understand anywhere where I say any type of specific block, like smooth stone or glass, like something generic, just know that most of the time you don't have to use that exact type of block unless I specifically state it during the tutorial. So for this build, you're gonna need 1,557 solid blocks, along with 458 glass, 705 obsidian, 82 fence gates, 16 dispensers, 1 slab, 20 pieces of packed or blue ice, 13 buttons, 372 hoppers, 472 chests, 24 blast furnaces, 29 redstone torches, 34 repeaters, 153 redstone dust, 29 comparators, 25 rails, 7 powered rails, 7 redstone blocks, 4 levers, 1 sticky piston, and 11 pistons. And while you gather all of these supplies together, if you're looking for a good place to use this farm with your friends, you should check out today's sponsor, Sparkedhost. If you want the best way to play Minecraft with your friends or family, then a Minecraft server from Sparkedhost is your answer. A Minecraft server is a great choice as it has much less lag that allows you to see much further in your world than a realm does, while also not requiring you to be online for others to play in it like a locally hosted world on your device does. To get started with Sparkedhost, browse through their different tiers of server, ranging from their very affordable budget series that offer better value per dollar than realms, or their main lineup of enterprise servers that offer amazing performance at competitive prices. Once you have your server type, amount of RAM, and any add-ons that you may want selected and purchased, your server is ready to play on. If you need any help, Sparkedhost has amazing customer support through their live chat on their website and on their Discord channel. Sign up today by clicking the link on screen now or in the description below, and be sure to use code Prowl at checkout to get 20% off your initial payment. Okay, let's get this party started, and we're gonna get it started by building our portals. Now, first of all, you need to make sure you are at Y level 0 or above. There's a bug in the game, been in the game for a couple years now, doesn't look like they're gonna fix it, but for some reason, the portals do not work properly below Y level 0. So make sure you're that high. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter where you put this. You could put it underground, you could put it in the air, you could put it over the ocean. It doesn't matter. Also, if you're wondering, mob caps and that sort of thing don't matter at all. You don't have to light up caves or any of that mess. Don't worry about it whatsoever. Also, just to make sure this is clear, this only works on Bedrock Edition. Java Edition, unfortunately, does not have these mechanics. So this super cool gold farm will only work on Bedrock. Now, next thing you want to do is find your chunk borders. Now, I'm going to use Foxy No Tail's markers pack to find my chunk borders. You can do so really via a lot of different ways. Whatever method you want to use that works for you is fine. You can use this marker pack, you can use math, you can use some other pack. There's a lot of different ways that you can find chunk borders. Hop on YouTube, do a quick search and find it. I will not be going over that here today. But what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get to a intersection of chunk borders, something like this right here. We're going to mark a corner with a piece of obsidian right here, and then I'm going to mark another corner right here. So basically we're going to have one portal inside of one chunk and one portal inside of another chunk. I can go ahead and get rid of this now. This dude does not matter anymore. Now, I will say this right now that you can do pretty much as many portals as you want. Honestly, for a single player world where you just need some gold for bartering or something like that, 1 or 2 portals, probably perfectly fine. If you're trying to supply a whole server and to, I don't know, sell gold or bartering or something like that, or you just like to build super big crazy things, then the bigger version we're going to do here will work, where we're going to do 8 portals, but you could do any number you want to, including more than 8. At some point, you will hit a limitation on how many you can have before you lag out your world though. So in any event, we're going to go along the chunk borders here. I guess we should probably put this back on just so you can kind of see what we're doing. But we're going to count over the maximum number of blocks a portal can be, which is 23 blocks across, 23 blocks. It does go into another chunk. That's fine. And then 23 blocks tall. And you will want to do this for every portal that you make. So we're going to do that for this one as well. And we're going to have a 1 block gap, which is very important, a 1 block gap between our portals. And if you want to make sure your portal's not too big, just go ahead and try to light it up. If it's not too big, it will light up. If it is too big, it will not. Now, if you're going to do more than 2 portals, you're going to want to continue them in this direction right here. And we're going to have a 2 block gap between each portal. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark off each of my corners now. And then today we're going to be doing a total of 8 portals, 4 on each side. All right, corners are marked. Let's make the rest of the portals. All right, next thing we're going to do is establish or figure out which side of these portals our zombie piglins are going to spawn on, or ziglins for short. I need you guys to call them ziglins because that's what they're called. Now, this is actually incredibly easy. These ziglins will spawn on the positive side of the portal. What does that mean? If I'm moving in this direction, you see my coordinate, the X coordinate in the top left-hand corner of my screen is going negative. That means they do not spawn on this side. This is the positive side. So these ziglins will spawn on this side of the, which I can demonstrate to you by flicking this a few times. You can see they're spawning on this side of the portal. So we know this is the side our ziglins are going to spawn on. And in case your portals are facing the other way, it's the positive side this way too. So like you can see my Z coordinate is moving negative. That means they would not spawn on that side. If my portals were going long ways here, they would spawn on this side, the positive side. In any event, now we need to move these ziglins, and the way that we're going to move them is via water. You're going to need to find a way to get underneath of your portals. You're going to need to go down 1, 2, and 3 blocks. Take out those 2 right there. We just need to make a platform. Now our platform, quite simply, is going to come out 1, 2 blocks past the portal over here to make sure our ziglins land nice and comfy inside the water and not outside of the farm. And then this little block right here, this is going to kind of be our wall. So let me just kind of show you really quick here. We're going to take our floor, which is going to be this right here. We're going to bring it all the way across the length of both of our portals. This will be a wall right here. So we're going to have a wall that wraps around just to make sure our water stays in and our ziglins stay in. Make that wall 2 blocks tall just to make sure the ziglins cannot jump up. And we're going to bring this out 7 blocks because that's how far water will flow before it drops down and floats again. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We'll come down 1 and go out another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we can stop right there and then come down another 1 and come out 2. So we're going to make all of this all the way across a floor. All right, go ahead and wall that flooring off. You can see how I have it all set up here. Now, I actually forgot these last 2 on the end. These need to actually go down a little bit more. We want the piglins to actually have a little bit of a drop. This will keep the system from getting backed up at all and just kind of make everything flow a little bit smoother. It doesn't really matter how fast we kill the piglins. Like, it doesn't change how quickly they spawn, but what it does change is how much lag you have, because the more piglins you have alive at a time, the laggier it gets. So we do want to kill them somewhat quickly. So we're going to drop these down by 2, which will allow the piglins from above to drop down in here and not maybe get bounced back up and make the whole process take longer. Now, before we close off this front part here, we actually have to do a little something else. Now, I'm going to put glass here in the front just because it's going to make it easier for you guys to see as I do things. But we're going to have to measure water flow here as well, okay? So what I mean by that is we're going to be flowing the ziglins down here, and once they get here, we need to flow them this way. So we know that water is going to flow over 8 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It will stop right there. We're going to want that flow to continue down, I think. So I think we're going to just run it to 7, which means we're going to stair step down by 1 and go another 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let's do the same thing from the other side. Go down again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you see we have a 3 block gap here in the middle. We're going to just make one of these come over 8. Doesn't matter which one. All right, let's wall off the front of this. I'm going to use glass. You can use whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Okay, and next we're gonna need some fence gates because we want to make sure we stop water flow in certain areas. So right in front of this last little bit here, we're gonna put fence gates right here. You can also use signs if you want to. Signs will work fine as well. We just want to block the water from going down any further from here. And make sure you actually go in and open all of them. Okay, after that, come right here, place a couple more fence gates here and here, just because again, we want to stop that water flow. And now we should be able to make the water flow and everything look and work just fine. Just place water all the way across. All stops there perfectly. And right here, we should only have to put water here and here. Perfect. And here and here. Now let's work on this really simple timing circuit. Okay, so for this portion, we're going to be working from that negative side, which is the direction that we made our water flow. And what we're going to do is we're going to start by placing some glass right here at the bottom level of the portals and bringing that across all the way to here. And once you get to those last portals, you're going to want to come out about 8 blocks from there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And right there at the end of that glass, put a block of obsidian down. Now place a block and a temporary block. And then below this guy right here, face a standard piston downwards. Next, go over 1 and up 2 like this. Take out those temporary blocks, face a sticky piston down, and a block of redstone below it right there. You get rid of that temporary block. You're going to want to put a redstone torch right here. Redstone dust right here, a glass block there and there, and a solid block right there. Put redstone dust here and here, a repeater right there. And then once we put down this piece of redstone dust, the circuit will activate. Now, I told you guys earlier, this was a variable speed. You can pick what speed this thing is going to work at. This is the fastest speed, which is the 1 tick. We could place it to 2 ticks, 3 ticks, and 4 ticks. And as you can see, the higher the tick rate is, the slower this thing goes. So if you're playing on a pretty beefy PC, maybe a newer gen console, you may be able to get away with the 1 tick. If you're on an older generation console or some mobile devices, you may need to do 2 ticks or 3 or 4 ticks. That part's up to you, especially if you're on a realm or playing on a server with others. You may want to be able to slow this thing down. And then if you're on the server alone, maybe speed it up for a little bit. Now we need to turn this thing off because it's annoying. We don't want to listen to it. So we're going to come out 1 more glass block here, and we're going to put a little glass block right here too. And we're just going to give ourselves a little on off switch. And we're going to put that right there, put some redstone dust into it, and bam. That switch is on. So now that's going to be turned off. That would be turned on. This switch right here we'll use to trigger all of our dispensers that we're going to be putting down just now. So for this part right here, go ahead and place yourself a temporary block right there and a dispenser facing right there. And you're going to want to put one of these on the innermost side of all of your portals. You're going to do the same thing for this side right here. They're going to go on this innermost side and face in like this. And you're also going to put one spaced out 1 block above that like this. So you're gonna have 2 dispensers in front of each portal, just like that. Now, once you have all of those down, go ahead and place yourself a glass block down beside each one of them, just like this. You're gonna want a repeater to be sat before each little intersection here, 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 and here, and run redstone from that torch there and run it down into here and cross it at each intersection so it touches each dispenser. Next, go to each dispenser and put in 1 bucket of water. Each of the bottom dispensers, not the top ones. All right, next thing we're gonna need to do is we need to block off the water that's gonna come down from here, from flowing all the way down, because it's actually going to mess up our farm if it does that. So should be pretty easy to do. All we need to do is we need to put a fence gate here, open it up, a fence gate here, open it up, and a fence gate there and open it up. Nope, and we need 1 more down here. Fence gate, get rid of that one. Okay, that should work. So if I put water right there, yep, you see how it flows down and it stops because we have a fence gate to the left and right, a fence gate here in the front. Actually, do we even need that one? I don't even need, oh yes I do. Okay, yep, there we go. That did the trick. So we need to put the fence gate to the left, to the right, below, and in front of every single one of these. Okay, we're gonna double check all these before we move on. All we're gonna do is gonna flip this switch right here. That should trigger all of these. As you can see, it looks like we're catching the water on all of them. That is absolutely perfect. That is just what we wanted. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take this next redstone line and we're just going to bring that in, bring it all the way down to here. Place in our glass like so, and then we're going to do the exact same thing we did below. It is important, it has to be exactly the same. We're going to put repeaters down, at each intersection, like so. Redstone dust down. Okay, I have one spot here. I just showed you guys me putting this in. I need to correct this before we go through the rest of the video. So through the rest of the video, you will see it still in this configuration, but know that we are changing it. So we're actually going to replace all of these repeaters with redstone dust. We'll do that top and bottom like that. So all of them have been replaced now. And what we're going to do right here before this intersection, we're going to put down 2 repeaters at 1 tick. And right before this intersection, we're going to put down 1 repeater at 1 tick. This is the proper way to run the farm. Now, I mentioned earlier, this system does work whether you have fire tick on or fire tick off. We're going to be utilizing flint and steel to light our portals here. Now, this is super important because flint and steel, this method is going to allow us to actually light these portals a bit faster than the other method that exists where you use a like lava blade and trapdoors and observers and all that kind of stuff to do it. That method does work good. It is a little bit cheaper to do it that way versus this way. This way is a little bit faster and it is universal to all worlds. So what are we going to do? We're going to place a hopper into the side of the dispenser right here, and we're going to put a double chest on top just like this. Now we're going to face a hopper into this guy. We're going to place a double chest like this, and we're going to repeat this process all the way up to the very top. Now, if you don't want this level of chest density for your flint and steel, you don't have to do it this way. If you're going to AFK this farm for, more than 8 hours at a time, especially if you do it at the fastest speed, you're going to need a lot of flint and steel, but I'll leave this up to you guys. Start with just a few if you like to, and then you can build up and add more later if you want. That part's totally up to you. Now, the nice thing is this will actually get a whole heck of a lot easier once auto crafters are introduced into the game with Minecraft 1.21, because then you can just throw the flint, throw the steel into a auto crafter, and then have it automatically crafted for you and send it into the system here. Okay, next is the not super tricky part, but somewhat tricky part, and that's the fact that we need to kill these dudes. We need to kill them efficiently, and we need to kill them fast, because there's going to be so many of them. Now, depending on how many portals you have and what tick rate you use may mean that you need a little bit less of this than what we're about to do, but I'm going to show you how to do the maximalist version, and then after I'll explain to you the things you can take away that you may not necessarily need for smaller or slower versions of this farm. So first of all, where our water comes down here in the center, we're going to come down 1 block, 2 blocks, and 3 blocks, again, just to make sure that the piglins can very easily drop down into the system. We're going to have a little floor here, and we're going to bring this out 7 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 like that. Now at this level right here, we can just go ahead and put some solid blocks down. And at this level here, we want pistons facing upwards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then actually right here, we want the piston to be at this level at the end. And we're gonna have this on both sides. I'm gonna come out 1 more block because of the water flow that we're about to put down. But first, I want to block off this area right here, because once these piglins get in here and they're flowing this way, I don't want them bobbing up any higher than this 2 block height. So we're going to go ahead and cap that off right there like that. And then right here, we're going to cap off this height. Now, super important, this area right here, we want only 1 bucket of water. We don't want 2, because we want to make sure we move these piglins over to one side. And you can see that side is going to be pushing them this direction. So they're kind of be pushed over here. Now I need to block this off right here and then put a slab down on this side right here. That way, what's going to happen is all of these piglins, they're going to go through this little chamber here and they're going to die. They're not going to be feeling too good. And then once they make their way through and down, they die, and the experience points and the drops will come out right here. And just to kind of establish that's what's happening, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to place down a few blocks right there just to kind of show for now, this is the direction that our drops and our XP is going to move. But wait, we're not done. We need to put down some solid blocks all through here, solid blocks through here like this. We're gonna need to come out this way a few blocks like this. And then we are going to need to make a little clock. So we're just gonna put a comparator right here into subtract mode, redstone dust right there, put a lever right here. So this thing ticks nice and quickly. And when we run this down through here, let's synchronize. There we go. And then I do want this to come in this direction. So we'll put down this here. We'll put some glass up right there. We're gonna come up this way, come up this way. We're gonna go into a repeater that's at 2 ticks and then come down and around. Oops. There we go. Come down and around. Now you see this side is going faster than this side. It's because it's going through a repeater at 1 tick. We're gonna put that right here. We turn it off, turn it on at 2 ticks. Sorry, 2 ticks. So you see this repeater at 2 ticks, this repeater at 2 ticks. First of all, these guys are alternating back and forth. That's good. That's what I wanted. It's just gonna help reduce lag a little bit in terms of these guys operating on different frequencies, or at different times rather. And then the next thing you're going to need is tridents. Now, here's the part that's gonna just depend on how fast of a system that you're gonna run and how many portals you're gonna run. If you're only gonna run 2 portals at a slower speed, you might only need a couple tridents down here and 1 down here. Might be all that you need. But just prepare that as you go up in size and speed, you may need more of these. Also, on the slower speeds, smaller sizes, you probably don't need to enchant your trident. But at this fastest speed, and speeds maybe just below this, you're going to need to have an impaling 5 trident, because these mobs, these ziglins, they will be in water, meaning that they will take additional damage from an impaling 5 trident on Bedrock Edition. Also keep in mind, once these tridents are thrown, they belong to you. They're your tridents, so they will give you XP if you're online when this is turned on. If your friend comes online and tries to use this system and you are not online, this is not going to drop XP. They would have to pick up the tridents and rethrow it themselves. Also keep in mind, these tridents once thrown, they do stay there forever. They do not lose durability, so you don't have to worry about that. Now for this fastest speed, we're actually going to need a lot of these. We're going to want to throw it at the glass. 1, 2, 3 of these per top level. Oh, that's kind of weird. It should be fine though. 3 of these per top level piston, and then 2 for the bottom. We're gonna need this because this thing is gonna spawn mobs so fast that really nothing else is gonna be capable of keeping up. It's one of the reasons why I designed the system this way, because we need to have a good way to get the item drops, but also we need to be able to kill these guys fast enough. Now you see if I turn this on, those guys, they just bounce up and down. Pretty simple. I forgot the 2 right here I saw. We'll put those down too. Now, the reason that this little section is lower is because the baby zombie piglins, those guys are going to work their way down to the little corner right there. And we've done a 2 wide because of a single wide, because we have the water flowing in this direction to push these zombie piglins against the very edge. That's what allows these tridents to hit them. But this thing gets so like overflowed with zombie piglins that they all get pushed to the sides. So these ones over here will also be doing damage. Now, this next part that we're going to do is going to be the sorting system, and it has to be a very specific size on the larger end of things, and you can make it this size for the smaller end as well. But I can, at the end here, I'll give you an estimate of about how much sorting you need per portal, I guess, at the fastest speed. You guys can adjust from there if you need to, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to work on the fastest speed one first. That's the one we're doing here today. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a row, probably a pretty long row of just standard blocks that are going to be temporary blocks for me. And what I'm going to do with this long row of blocks, let me get rid of these guys right here, is I'm going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4 facing inwards, skip 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to do this in this direction 7 times. Boom, perfect. We've gone 7 blocks that way. And actually I need to do this again and again, just like this. Go into the back of these temporary blocks, and you can take the temporary blocks out, of course, leave all the hoppers. Now we're going to get these out the way, and we're going to set up our item filters first. What we're going to do is we're going to put a solid set of blocks behind all of these hoppers, and you can knock out the middle ones as you go, but for now I'm just going to make it super easy. We're just going to place these all the way down. Comparators are going to go on top of each of those in front of all of the hoppers, or behind, I guess, all the hoppers. You do not need to put them in those blank spots. We're going to get rid of those. Next, those comparators are going to be going into solid blocks, which will have glass blocks beside them. Diagonally down from that will be another solid block, and diagonally down from this will be another solid block, just like this. Let's go ahead and knock out all of our extra blocks just so we don't put down anything where we don't need it. We're going to put repeaters facing in this way towards the hoppers. We're going to put torches on the opposite side of where those repeaters are. And we're gonna fill the tops of all of these with redstone dust. Okay, next, before we put in all the chests, we are going to put in our item filter items. So the way this works is this top hopper right here. We're going to select that. We're going to put in our like filter or slot holder item, I guess, which in this case, which all of you guys should be using, should be sub to Prowl diamonds. You have to get diamonds. You have to name them sub to Prowl. If you don't do this, it doesn't work. I may just be kidding, but it is scientifically proven to make your farm 157% faster by using sub to Prowl diamonds. If you're not using sub to Prowl diamonds though, any item that will not be filtering into this system will be fine. My recommendation is take any item, it doesn't matter what it is, cobblestone, whatever, and name it, hopefully sub to Prowl, and put it into these slot reservation slots. Next, put a single item of what you're gonna be filtering in. In this case, these first 3 segments, we're gonna be putting in rotten flesh. These next 3 segments, we're gonna be putting in gold nuggets. And this last section, we're gonna be putting in gold ingots. Now we can add in our storage chests. We don't want to put them at this level. I don't want to put them at this level. I've had trouble with items sometimes like ending up in the wrong chest. So I'm putting them down 1 extra block. And then we need to decide how much storage we're going to have. I'm going to go 5 chests deep. Honestly, if you're going with the fastest version of this farm, you might even want to do more than that because this thing is so incredibly fast. If you're going to AFK at it for a long time, you're going to very easily fill storage. And I'm going to explain why here in a moment, but filling storage is not a good thing. You do not want to fill the storage up. Once you get all the chests in, make sure you have hoppers going into the back of all of them. Yes, this storage system is massive, but if you want to farm this big that can get you over 120,000 drops an hour, you kind of need a place to put all of those items. Okay, next we're going to take our ice and we're going to put a piece of ice between each one of these hoppers right here. Maybe. We're gonna get to the end right here. We're gonna put a piece of ice right here. We're gonna go over that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's give ourselves a little bit more space. 8, 9. That should be good. Now, next, we're gonna go down this direction. And I'm going to bring this all the way down to not the last section here, but even with the second to last section, okay? Those blocks are all temporary because I want hoppers moving in this direction. We're gonna still stick with this every 4 thing, and I'm gonna show you why here in just a little bit. So every 4, basically line up with these gaps right here. We're gonna have built-in gaps here. We do not need one at the end. Next, we're gonna take glass and we're gonna encircle this entire thing. Same thing on this side. Then we need buttons and water. We're gonna start out with water right here. And then every time we come across a piece of ice, we're gonna place down a button. And we're gonna put water after the button on top of the first hopper, flowing across the 4 hoppers, just like you see here. Once you get down here, you just let the water flow across there like that is fine. Put a button somewhere here in the middle-ish, put down another water bucket, but you're gonna wanna put a button right down here at the end and put water right here so the water flows going down this row of hoppers, and then keep repeating the process like we were doing earlier. And there we go. You can see how the water flow is going to take items up, around, and across. And the reason why we're breaking our water flow every 4 blocks is because if we don't do that, it's possible for both items and XP to sink down low enough to get stuck into our hoppers. If you keep it at this height right here, it does not happen. The items and the XP will flow with no problem. Lastly, we cannot allow anything that is not part of our system that we do not have filtered to get into here. So we're going to place glass, or you can do a solid block as well, up to you. And we're going to cover up right around here. I've used glass for all of this just because I like to be able to see everything. If you don't really care about that, you don't want to have a lot of glass, you don't have to, it's perfectly fine. We are going to leave this last guy right here open. Now, lastly, we're going to place a hopper down at the bottom of each one of these hoppers, and then a blast furnace at the bottom of each one of these. Hoppers in the back of each blast furnace. We're gonna place a temporary block underneath the blast furnaces and have double chests coming out like this, and have hoppers going into the back of all of these chests. We're gonna put a solid block between each one of these, a couple down here on the end, one down here, and a stopper right there. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a powered rail on each one of these and put one right here, and then fill in everywhere else with just standard rails. You have to power each one of these. You do not want to put a lever on this because you'll lock your hoppers. So you want to put either a solid block right here and power the solid block, or if you want to keep things simple, you can also just put down a redstone block right beside each one of these rails. Now on this last one right here, I do want to put a lever on that one because I do want to be able to turn this part on and off. We're going to put a solid block right here, a mine cart with a chest right there, and then whatever fuel source you plan on using, whether it be dried kelp or blaze rods or coal or whatever it is, go ahead, fill your chest up, turn that on, and now you'll have fuel going to all of these very easily. You could even hook up some type of an automatic farm for, say, sticks, or in the future, maybe even for kelp blocks once we have auto crafters, and keep this thing pretty easily fueled up infinitely. Okay, so once you have your flint and steel all loaded up and everything down here is all done, please ignore the slime. I'm in a super flat world, so they spawn sometimes, which reminds me, you want to make sure that everything, all of the areas are spawn proof, because you do not want any other mobs falling in. And here is why. Any items that make it past these filtered slots will then go across here, around here, drop into your furnace like this. I don't know how I managed that, but I did, and block up your furnaces. So you need to make sure nothing else gets into this system. Also, that does mean that if your system fills up, it will eventually overflow into your furnace area here, which is not good. So in my case here, what I've done is I've made sure that based on the speed of the fastest version of this that we're building here today, we will utilize 8 filters at a time. 8 hopper speed is the speed in which we will be pulling in items just in this one little area right here per item, right? So we'll be pulling in these, and then this is an extra overflow area for the rotten flesh. Same thing for the ingots, or the nuggets, I mean, as well. If you want to make this 100% overflow proof, what you will also need to do is you will need to have, let's say, the two sections of 4 for your material for rotten flesh, and then you will need 2 sections of 4 of a trash can style system where everything goes into a dropper and dispenses it or drops it into lava. Then you'll have 2 sections for nuggets, and then you'll have 2 more sections for the nuggets to be thrown away into lava. So just keep that in mind. Either go bigger with your storage, check the system and empty it out often, or build in an overflow where you have everything dispense itself into lava that does not make it into your storage area. So yeah, keep that in mind. But I think we're ready to turn this thing on. There's one more thing that we need to do other than getting all this flint and steel out of our inventory. Make sure your sword that you're holding has looting 3 on it. Go ahead and turn the clock on. Turn the system up here on. You may want to have a good easy way up and down to be able to do this without having to fly like I am, or otherwise you can run the redstone to where you can have your levers down there. That would work too. Let's plug this in right here. We need to start with our water out. Our water needs to be in the outward position. Now, if we turn this on, pull out our sword. There we go. It's actually going to flicker so fast that you're going to get this bug of like, it doesn't look like it's flickering. Don't worry, it is. And I should be able to wait right here and have all the XP fly out to me, although we may have to build ourselves up right here to get it. There we go. That seems better. Now, as you can see, all the piglins, they're flying in. They're getting instantly killed, more or less, by our like myriad of tridents here. All of our drops are flowing along the system and getting sucked up into the right areas. The swords are making it down this far and are making it into our furnaces here. And all of our XP is yeeting itself off the edge right now, but it's coming to this spot right here where we can collect all of it. Ooh, seems like I can maybe close that and have the XP just drop down to me. That's even better. Look at that. Now, if you are playing on a simulation distance 4 world, such as just most normal worlds, or a realm even, you do not want to get too far away from these portals. If you go all the way down here, you're going to be far enough away to where some of those zombie piglins in the back, they're not going to be able to spawn in, and your redstone's not going to be turning on over there. You need to stay pretty close to this thing. So my recommendation is you want to stay right here at the XP area whenever this thing is turned on. If you want to go walk down and take a look at how like progress is happening down there, you're going to want to turn the system off. At least turn the portals off like this before you travel down. Otherwise, you're going to end up like breaking your system. And if you ever happen to break it, right? Like let's say you have a situation where like some of the portals are lit and some of the portals aren't lit, and you need to get this thing back in sync. What you need to do is just go through, break all the portals. I'm doing this in creative, so it allows me to punch the portal. You guys, you'll have to break a piece of obsidian, break all the portals. Get your water back out. This is going to be the position that everything needs to be in anytime you turn this on. And there we go. That's the system working 100%. And look at all of those ziglins coming in. It is so many. We don't really even know what to do with them all, do we? Yes, we do. We turn them all into gold blocks. If you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure you click that like button and subscribe to the channel right now. Make sure you do it. Drop a comment down below. Tell me what the heck are you going to use all this gold for? Because this is going to get you a lot. And what size of this farm is it that you're going to use? Let me know what configuration you're using. How many portals did you pick? What speed did you set the clock on to make this thing work? I'm kind of curious. I want to know how everybody's using this thing. I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I will see you next time.